What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. You know, one thing I really love doing is setting expectations. I love going into a new show, a new movie, a new season, a sequel, a prequel. Regardless of what it is, I love making theories. I love watching theories. I love coming up with guesses. I love trying to predict where the story is going. I am a huge fan of coming up with ideas and having hopes and wants for a future piece of content. And when it's done right, I really feel like setting certain expectations or building a desire or want list of something that you want to see in an upcoming piece of content could be a lot of fun. You obviously can't take it overly serious and set your expectations too high to completely expect something to play out, because all you're doing is setting yourself up for heartbreak and sadness and anger and whatever other emotions that you want to tie into not seeing something that you want to see play out the way you want it to play out. But there's one thing in the upcoming Kenobi series that's coming up here, the Star Wars show with Obi-Wan. Cannot wait for that. That has always kind of been one of my more anticipated pieces of content, whether we got the movie or a show. Just there's so much storytelling that I feel like we could get with Obi-Wan that I just can't wait to see it. But there is one thing that I really need to see, and it all stems from one very specific sequence. For a long time now, I've considered Return of the Jedi as my personal favorite Star Wars movie. There's just so many emotions tied to it. There's so many things with validations and redemptions and just the storytelling from start to finish and just kind of wrapping up that trilogy that I just absolutely love Return of the Jedi. I think Empire Strikes Back is the best movie, but my personal favorite is Return of the Jedi. There is one very specific scene, even more specifically one line in that movie, that always gets me. I am so interested in learning more and kind of having this line pay off.
I know there is good in you. The Emperor hasn't driven it from you fully. Come with me.
Obi-Wan once thought as you do.
When? When exactly did Obi-Wan think as Luke did? At what point did Obi-Wan ever try to officially convince Vader, join me, come back to the light? And when would Vader have known about it? Because of his response, Obi-Wan once thought as you did. Obviously something went down.
You have allowed this Dark Lord to twist your mind until now you have become the very thing you swore to destroy.
If you're not with me, then you're my enemy.
Only a Sith deals in absolutes. I will do what I must.
It definitely wasn't that. Obi-Wan knew exactly what he needed to do when he boarded the ship to go over to Mustafar with Padme. There was absolutely nothing in my eyes that made me think, oh yeah, Obi-Wan's trying to turn him. They were having a conversation and there was some discussion, but at no point did Obi-Wan ever try to convince him, like, no, come back with me. Come back to the light. This is a problem. This is like, he says it's wrong, but he knew right away with the way Anakin was acting, something had to be done. And it wasn't joining him and coming back to the light.
You can't win, Darth. If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
And without a doubt, it wasn't that moment either. There was absolutely no conversation with Obi-Wan trying to turn Vader. It was a fight. Obi-Wan again knew exactly what needed to be done. Strike me down, I'll become more powerful than you could ever imagine. Now, we know that Hayden Christensen is going to be in the Obi-Wan series, and we know that there's going to be an interaction or fight between Obi-Wan and Vader or Anakin. And I am 100% convinced. I'm expecting it. Again, I'm not going to get my hopes up crazy, but I fully believe that that line and that moment from Return of the Jedi is going to get a full payoff here. We're going to get the moment that Darth Vader was referring to when he told Luke, Obi-Wan once thought as you did. And because of this...
I have failed you, Anakin. I have failed you.
And this...
There's good in him. I know there's still...
I fully believe that Obi-Wan is going to be sickened. He's going to be haunted at the idea that his brother...
You were my brother, Anakin. I loved you.
...turned to Darth Vader, joined the Sith, executed I don't even know how many Jedi, and he feels like he failed. I can totally see Obi-Wan finding a way to seek out Anakin, Vader, to try to have one last attempt to bring him back to the light, back to the good side, because Padme mentioned it. He knows that there's something there, and he's just going to feel, I feel like there's going to be a lot of guilt. There's going to be a lot of haunting at just the idea of how everything played out. And I mean, obviously it's going to be one of those stories where we know how it ends, but again, with the proper storytelling, that could be fantastic, and I have full confidence with the folks that are involved with this and that are running it. It's going to be awesome, and it's going to be one of the best things that Star Wars has put out in the last few years, without question. Not only will another fight and even conversation between Obi-Wan and Vader give some clarity to the Obi-Wan once thought as you did line, but it will also give more clarity to the moment and relationship, and it will even possibly connect other moments.
There is still good in him.
He's more machine now than man, twisted and evil.
That, and also this.
Your powers are weak, old man. You should not have come back.
It makes me giddy with excitement at the idea of another Obi-Wan and Anakin interaction, because I truly feel like, again, like I mentioned with the people involved, it's going to be good. It could be some of the best Star Wars we've ever seen. Some things are better left unspoken and unexplained, but I feel like this is one of those story gaps that they're going to fill, and it's going to just be spectacular. I think it's going to be so well done. I think it's going to be so entertaining, and it's going to be so emotional, which is what makes Star Wars so great, in my opinion, especially for me at this point. The emotions that it brings out of people, regardless of what end of the spectrum the emotion's on, it's just all about the emotion, and I feel like that moment done right is going to be so emotional. And while we're here talking about things that we want to see or expectations for an upcoming show,
in your solitude on Tatooine, training I have for you. An old friend has learned the path to immortality. One who has returned from the netherworld of the Force, your old master.
Qui-Gon.
How to commune with him, I will teach you.
can we please get Liam Neeson back as Qui-Gon Jinn? Please. For some reason, every single time when I'm watching Revenge of the Sith and Obi-Wan sits down with Yoda to talk about the future and Yoda brings up the idea of being able to communicate with your master again, it gives me all the feels. It gives me chills. I don't know what it is about that moment, but it's just like, oh my God, I get to see my master. Like, that is such a touching moment, and I love that scene every single time. And anytime there's been an idea or talks about an Obi-Wan show, that is one of the things that I would love to see play out. I would love to see Yoda interacting with Obi-Wan, teaching him how to communicate with Qui-Gon. That would be so dope, and I would be all for it. And it's probably like the second thing on my list in terms of expectations of stuff that I want to see in this Obi-Wan show, because there is like that time gap. There's a lot to play with, and they have set up certain things to tell that story and to continue that story. And just the idea of seeing Liam Neeson again as Qui-Gon, that would be so cool. And just getting, we still haven't really gotten a lot of like the crossover. We've gotten conversations, but the idea of even seeing Qui-Gon trying to learn and communicate with Obi-Wan and Yoda, like that stuff would be so cool to see, and I hope we get it. Overall, like I mentioned, the moment these Star Wars stories started playing out and these shows started kind of blowing up, the Obi-Wan story is the one that I've always wanted the most. It was always at the top of my list. I think a lot of people agree that the Obi-Wan series with Ewan McGregor, he is so good as Obi-Wan, and I'm just so excited for this show. Regardless of whether they do any of the stuff that I talked about or the stuff that I want, I am fully confident that it's going to be good. It's going to be entertaining. It's going to be really well done. And I feel like we're going to be able to fill some gaps that a lot of us Star Wars fans have been wanting to see told for a long time. It's going to be a really good story. And I just hope we get some closure on that line from Return of the Jedi, because it is always just one of those things. Every time I watch that movie, I'm always curious, like, when did that interaction take place? I want to see it. I want to see the last effort of Obi-Wan trying to convince his brother Anakin, Darth Vader, to come back to the light. What you're doing is wrong. Come back to us. We could still make this work. I want to see that interaction so badly, and I hope we get it for everyone, because it is one of those moments that I think, again, is going to be one of the greatest moments in Star Wars. There's like a small list of things that we want to see. I feel like getting to see Luke be super OP. We got that in The Mandalorian. Seeing Vader just completely wreck Rebels and just go ham and just be Vader that we know that he could be. And I feel like another interaction between Obi-Wan and Vader is just one of those things that you could just check it off the list, and I think it's going to be absolutely spectacular. I cannot wait to see it play out, because again, there's so much possibility for what can be told in that time range, and I'm all for it. I cannot wait. Let me know what you guys think. What are you most anticipating with the Obi-Wan series? Leave them comments down below. And if there are other ideas like this that you want me to make, I'm open to suggestions. I'm looking for ideas. You want top 5 lists, you want best characters, best storylines, best whatever you think would be interesting with my opinion, just leave them in the comments again below, and I will catch you guys for the next one. Have a good one. Bye.